Welcome to the weekly Underrepresented in Tech vlog with Michelle Frechette and Allie Nimmons. Underrepresented in Tech is a free database built with the goal of helping people find new opportunities in WordPress and tech overall. Let's dive in with this week's vlog.
Good morning, Allie. How are you?
Good morning, Michelle. I'm awesome. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I haven't seen you in a long time, but I always love being
I
able to see you
know.
on video.
I know, same here. Last time we were together in the same space was WordCamp Miami last year, a little over a year ago already.
Yeah, we had a great time. We spent so much time together and I rode
It
your
was so much
scooter
fun.
around. Yeah.
And
So it was awesome.
I had brunch at your apartment. I
You
saw the place
did?
you are right now. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You met my cat and everything. It was
I
awesome.
did. She's so cute. She's a riot. I am just so excited that we are starting this new vlog series. How about
Yeah,
you?
me too. I'm so stoked about it. It's going to be really fun and an
Well,
excuse for us to chat every week.
I know, I love that too. I can honestly say that any project I work on with you, I absolutely adore. It becomes a passion project. And Underrepresented in Tech is absolutely that 100% a passion project. I know it is for me.
Yes.
I think I speak for both of us when I say that as well.
Yes,
But
definitely.
and I think most of the people who found our site have an idea of what it is. And I know how it got started, but why don't you tell everybody who's watching kind of like how this thing like got legs?
Yeah. So like you and I have both had a lot of experiences of like either starting projects or working on projects where we needed to help bring on other people like speakers or other sorts of people, or people had reached out to us individually one-on-one like through Twitter or email asking like, hey, I'm starting this thing, do you know any, and I want it to be diverse, is there anybody that you can recommend? And I know, I'll speak for myself, I got really sick and tired of that because I was like, I don't have time to headhunt for every single person who reaches out to me, but I do appreciate the sentiment and I do want diverse people to have, to have that hand out to them with more of these kind of opportunities. So we kind of started chatting about like, man, wouldn't it be great if we just started like a Google sheet with like all the awesome people that we know who are not straight white men in tech, and we could just have this database of people to pull from. And then we were sort of like, well, then we would have access to it, and the people we add to it wouldn't really be giving us their permission to add them to it. And so as we kind of improved on that idea and improved on that idea and like threw ideas out, eventually we were just sort of like, we should just build something. We are both WordPress builders. We've both built, between the two of us, probably close to 500 websites
Mm-hmm.
or more. Like, we could just build a site and build a database for all of these things. And it truly was a passion project because it came purely out of this like desire that the both of us have to help people and to bring more diverse voices out into the world, the voices that we already know are amazing and we want other people to hear as well.
Yeah.
So we just kind of built it. We were like, well, we'll build it and we'll see who comes, we'll see what happens. And so far we've had an amazing reception. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think people are really, really happy about it and eager to support it. I mean, we have what, 4 or 5 in-kind sponsors now who have donated time and software to help us make it work. So yeah, it definitely came out of this need to solve a problem. And how can we
Absolutely.
use WordPress to solve that problem and help the WordPress
Yeah.
community at the same time? And so, yeah, I'd say did I miss anything? Did I miss any key touch
No,
points?
no, I think I mean, that's pretty much exactly what happened. We were on a call like this, literally face to
Mm-hmm.
face. And I honestly don't remember which one of us said, we just need to build a website. Like,
It could have been either one of us.
and then I think like literally 3 minutes later, I'm like, we now own underrepresentedtech.com. I hope you like it.
Yeah. And your folks at Sentry helped us with hosting. And like within the next day, you were like, yeah, they're going to help us out with hosting. I'm like, cool. So like all of the key pieces just started falling into place.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was definitely what I think was cool about the experience too of how it came about is it was like easy. Like I feel like some people have an idea for something that they want to build and it's like really difficult and complicated and they have to jump through all these hoops and like get all and like for us it was just like, well, we want to do it, so let's do it. And then we did it. And they're like, well, we need this portion, we need this thing. Okay, we'll find it, we'll figure out how to do it. And we did. Like, it's been super. And I think that's also like us working together. We have a multi-year long now background of working together on various projects, and so I think we work well and we communicate well together. So that also helped, I think, to make it so that one day I'm going to look at when that first thing was of like, we should take this spreadsheet and make it into a database, and then figure out when we actually launched the website, and it's going to be a ridiculously short amount of time.
Absolutely. We're going to have to go so far back in our Twitter DMs to figure out exactly when that
we
was.
We have a lot of Twitter DMs.
I'm going to let you do that. Let me know what you find.
I can definitely do that.
And one of the things, like, seriously, I know that I get asked a lot to speak and to write and to be on podcasts. And I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love it. And I want to do those things. You get asked a lot. I get asked as the old white woman in tech. You get asked as the young Black woman in tech. And it's like, and it's great to our voices. I think we have good things to say, but there are more old white women in tech than me. There are more people of color in tech than you. And I don't know. I think sometimes I'm tokenized that way. I think maybe sometimes you're tokenized that way. And you actually said to me, I don't want to always be the one speaking. There, other people need opportunities, and I'm kind of tired of it. You know, it doesn't need to be your voice every time. It doesn't need to be my voice every time. And so that's how the database came about, was like, how are we going to be able to recommend other people if we don't have the time, capacity, energy, etc., to be involved in the different projects? And this is Women's History Month. And so, like, we can talk about the fact that we're women in technology as well. And I remember, I'm not going to like out the particular conference. Number one, I can't remember which conference it was. And number two, I can't remember how long ago it was. But it was at least a year, if not, well, it was not last year. So it was at least 2 years ago, perhaps 3, that there was a conference, a tech conference in Europe. And it was all men. Literally all.
I remember the one you were talking about.
Yeah, it was mostly white men. There were a couple of men from, I think, from India also on there. And that's not diverse. That's not representative.
Are you talking about the one that they ended up canceling?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There was such an outcry about the fact that women in technology exist. We are here. We're actually really good at what we do. I am not the best coder, but guess what? There are a million amazing women coders out there.
Yeah, like, and tech is not just about coding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was so much of an outcry. They like reached out to 1 or 2 women to try to like even the playing field, and those women were like, yeah, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. No. You're not going to tokenize me. You're not asking me now because you didn't get.
You got in trouble. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that I remember that, and it was oh god, it was so pathetic. Like, I just remember being so, like, I got a headache from rolling my eyes so much. And like, there were some people defending them and like, oh, well, you know, in Europe it's different. And it's like,
no, it's not.
Really, it might be, but it's not that different to where it's so impossible to get any women to apply. Like, what the heck?
Right.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It was absolutely ridiculous. And then shortly thereafter, and I think what really elevated that conversation too, was a list came out. Like, I'm not going to out the company. Again, I can't remember what it was, but some tech company in the WordPress space put out a list of, like, I can't remember, was it like the top 25 people you should be following?
Influencers or superheroes or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, some ridiculously lofty title that they put on these people. And of that list, I don't know if it was 25 or 30 people, whatever it was, there was like 3 or 4 women. It's like, really? Like, it's literally the same 20 white guys, and you like alternate the women out through that. And there was huge conversation all over Twitter about that.
And then they did something similar after the fact, where they kind of cherry picked the women who were the most vocal on Twitter about how dumb it was, and then added them to the list. And it's like, I don't want to be on your stupid list. You know, like, the list itself, in that situation, like, the list itself is the problem. Like, if I encounter one of those lists and it is fairly diverse, I'm like, okay, I guess I can't really complain. Like, I think the list itself is kind of pointless, but at least these people are getting it, you know, getting exposure and getting praise and stuff like that. But like, in my opinion, just making the list in the first place is like, what's the point of that? Like, why would I follow all these? What are they actually saying? Like, you're not offering me any actual value aside from, you know, sharing a well-known person's Twitter handle in the hopes that they're going to see that and then share the article, and that's going to send traffic back to your site. Like, I just see it as a big SEO marketing ploy.
I mean, suddenly I was on that list. Like, I don't think a lot of people knew who I was at the time. My podcast and things like that, people know who I am a little bit more, and, you know, where I work and those kinds of things. But anyway, suddenly I was on that list, and I was like, a year before that, I would have been like, oh my God, I showed up on a list. And like, I would have been so excited. Like, how did they know who I was? It's like, oh, I grumbled. I was like that really grumbly lady on Twitter. So you added me. Thanks, but no thanks, you know, kind of thing.
And full disclosure, I recently ended up on one of those lists. It was like WordPress influencer predictions for 2021. It was at the end of last year. But like, I agreed to be on that list because they asked me to provide content. Like, they asked me to provide a prediction. And it was actually an African-American, I believe African-American, if not a woman of African descent, reached out to me and asked me to participate in it. So I was like, cool, I'm supporting this woman's idea. I'm actually providing useful content. It's not just oh, look at me, I'm an influencer. It's like, hey, look at me, I have something to say, and maybe you'd like to hear it, you know? So like, I just wanted to put that out there because I do poo-poo these lists, and then I did one voluntarily. But I think there's a big difference between putting those lists together and actually developing some content. And like you mentioned Women's History Month a couple minutes ago, like, I kind of feel the same about Women's History Month to a degree, where it's like, I'm glad that it exists and that, you know, women get a moment in the spotlight, but women should be in the spotlight all year long. I think things like Women's History Month and Black History Month, like, they've become so commercialized, and they've become like an opportunity for companies and corporations to shout out how diverse they are and how much they care about diversity when they probably don't, or when it's equally likely that they don't, you know, maybe they do, but you know, it just seems like an excuse for people to to put on some sort of optical, what do they call it in marketing, like optics, like it's an optics opportunity.
It's almost
and
like,
it's not
look how
always
woke we
actually
are.
about exactly like, oh, look at us, look how great we are because we give half a crap. And it's like, no, you should be doing that all year long, no matter what. And so and I have mixed feelings about Women's History Month.
I do too, and I've always felt that way about Black History Month. Not that it's not great to be learning things, because it is, absolutely, and to be raising up those, amplifying those voices, things like that. But first of all, why did they pick the shortest month of the whole year? That's the first one, right? Like, it's Black History Month.
Never thought about that.
We're only going to give them 28 days. We're not going to give them one of the ones with 31 days, because heaven forbid.
I literally never noticed that. Holy cow.
Yeah, and then we're gonna give women the 31 days, like right next to it. So it's gonna look like we're gonna have this huge amount of wokeness, but then like the other 10 months of the year, let's just go talk about the white guys again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, oh my God, and that's the other thing too, is I love when people are like, why isn't there a White History Month? Why isn't there a Men's History Month? That's the entire rest of the year.
Well, no, it's not even the entire rest. It's the entire year. Because let's face it, even during Black History Month and Women's History Month, it's not like the white guys take a step back and let everybody else, you know, step forward. And I mean, guys, it's not like I hate guys. I don't hate guys. I don't hate white people. I am a white person. But let's just remember that there's more to the world than the white men who like to lead it.
It's like, what was that share? There's this share meme that's been going around, or it's like a quote from one of her old interviews where I think they asked her, like, well, why do you hate men? And she was like, I don't hate men. I think men are the coolest, but you don't need them to live. And I was like, wow, that's fantastic. That's amazing. So it's like, I know plenty of fantastic men in this industry and outside of this industry, right? Absolutely. I'm married to one, to a fantastic man, but like, I don't know. I was going to say something super mean, but
We are not man bashers, and
We're not man bashers.
We're not white bashers. We're not any of that, but we are, let's move over. It turns out that just like that door at the end of Titanic that probably could have held 2 people, the table all the white guys are sitting at could actually, if they just scooch their chairs together a little bit closer, could fit so many more people in there and show
Absolutely.
and the thing I keep saying about diversity, and I'll probably scream this until my voice is gone and I'm like deep in the grave, but diversity isn't about giving people a place. It really isn't. It's about including voices and perspectives because there's value in those people. Not just like, oh, look, we have a brown face at the table. Oh, look, we have a woman at the table. Oh, look, there's estrogen in the room. I mean, it's not about any of that, but it's about the fact that when Allie sits at the table with you, you get a perspective and you get experience, and you have such a richer, more diverse opportunity to grow your product, to grow your service, whatever it is, because now you're not looking at it from, with your blinders on and your white guy myopathy. Yeah, it's not myopic anymore. And so with diversity comes such a richer experience. And if you're providing a richer experience in your development of your product, of your website, of whatever it is, then your users and your customers are getting a much better product and a much better service as well. So.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And I would even add to that, I think we forget that diversity is about also doing the work, the consistent work to demystify certain perceptions and stereotypes and stigmas about, oh, in Europe, we don't have any women in tech. Like, that's not true. It just isn't. And for you to even put that out there is like taking all of this work and putting it a step backward, right? So, and again, for Women's History Month, for you to pat women on the head for, oh, look how hard you work, look how talented you are. Yeah, I know I work hard and I know I'm talented, and I don't need a cookie for that, like just hire me. Just like pay me the same,
I like cookies, I like tiaras, but I don't need
true.
one.
Exactly. And then I think that's the difference between tokenize it. Like, people have asked me, like, what's the difference? What is tokenizing, right? Like, what's the difference between tokenizing someone and actually supporting diversity? Supporting diversity is not a one-time thing. Tokenizing is something that you do one time, right? You have that one person, like think of how many times you've watched a TV show, or like even as a kid, right? And there's a whole group of people and one woman. Right? Like, think of like the Avengers. It's like this whole group of people, of men, and then Black Widow, right? That's tokenizing. It's one person. But the diversity is consistently sowing the seeds of, like, we can tell all of these different stories. We can involve all of these different people. And it's not that these type of people are special people, right? They're just people.
Oh my God, you don't have superpowers, Allie?
I mean, I wish.
Me too.
I wish.
I used to wish that my superpower was that I didn't need sleep, because I could be so much more productive if I never needed sleep. Like, nobody ever, like, that's a good superpower. Like, if you're gonna pick a superpower, right? Like flying, okay, that's cool. Like super strength where you could just like punch through walls and shit, right? That's all good. But think about the fact that if you didn't need to sleep, you could be like, I could do so much more.
But I love sleeping.
Well, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but you didn't need it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I don't know what you call that character. Like, like, it's not Wonder Woman or like Batman or Superman. It's like, needs no sleep, girl.
The caffeine caper. I don't know. But just to latch onto what you said about superheroes, one of these days we should definitely talk about, there was this recent thing with this musical artist Sia, and she was like, oh, we shouldn't call disabled people disabled. We should call them special ability, like we should call it having special abilities. And like, I've seen so many like TikToks and videos where people are like, no, I'm disabled, I don't have superpowers. Hello? Like, we should definitely do a conversation on that, because there's so much, just through working with underrepresented in tech, I've learned so much about disabled versus other words, and like how to frame that conversation. And that's something as an able-bodied person, I haven't had that much experience with, and I'd love to learn more and talk more about that.
Absolutely.
And
I've got
hear
ideas.
Your perspective. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. It's like my knees don't work great and I use a scooter, like you said, right? It doesn't make me like scooter girl. Having a scooter is not a superpower, right? I mean, like
it is fun though.
It is fun. Using a cane to get up and walk to the restroom, it doesn't make me have superpowers. It means I stand up and I'm like, man, my knees hurt. You know what I mean? Like there's no super strength in that. But overcoming that and doing in spite of and over and because of, and not letting it hold you back. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It also isn't a superpower, but the determination and the strength to do those kinds of things absolutely should be applauded. And I think that that's what some people mean when they say that, but the language people use is just so wrong. There's also right now this thing about it's okay to not be a slender person, right? And like I'll tell people, I'm like, oh, I'm an old fat chick, right? And they're like, oh, don't call yourself fat. I'm like, dude, do you see me? I'm a fat woman and it's okay. Like you don't have to call me fat in a derogatory way.
Yeah.
But
fat in and of itself as a word is not an insult.
It is not.
It's a noun/adjective.
Exactly. Like, you know, I got wings when I move my arm. I got little wingspan down there. Like that's fat. It's adipose tissue. It is what it is. And you know, if you call me a fat bitch, then that's a different story altogether. But she's the overweight woman. She's like, I don't care. That's true. It's a statement and it doesn't hurt me. But we need to normalize those kinds of things, right? So that it's not derogatory language and it isn't meant to be harmful in any way, shape, or form. For sure. Absolutely. I can't. We're going to have so many conversations over the next however long we want.
I'm so excited.
I know, me too.
And we should definitely say, if you're watching and there's anything that you want us to talk about, to chat about, please let us know through our website or through social media. Like if there's a topic that you want us to chat about, we would be really happy to do that.
Absolutely. We're going to start blogging on our site. We're going to do, I love that. I've never done a vlog before. Like I have a podcast. It's a little different. So like we're vlogging. This is pretty cool, and having conversations. And I think that our voices can represent a lot of people, and but obviously we need to be careful about how we do that as well. And I think that just I'm just really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on so many things as we work on this project together. Absolutely.
So we should say we plan on releasing a new vlog video like this one we decided on Thursday, right? On our website, underrepresentedintech.com. So you can look for those. We'll post them on social. We'll probably email them out. We'll have a whole it'll be a whole thing. Yep.
We have a Twitter account, underrepresentedintech.com, because you can't, or not underrepresentedintech.com, underrepresentedintech. So at UNDERREPD in tech. I don't remember something like that. Anyway, it's on our website. Just click it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And follow us over there because we will be sharing a lot more there. Allie and I have lots of projects every Wednesday, or almost every Wednesday. I tweet out jobs that are available. We'll retweet that from our brand. And also we tweet about underrepresented things that are happening. And of course about our own website, because if you are an underrepresented person, we want to help you be found. Go to our website, enter yourself in the database, and let people find you. And it's working, Allie. Did you know that people are finding people in there?
I'm really excited to start seeing testimonials and stuff like that. And I should also say, if you are not an underrepresented person and you have a project and you would like that project to be more diverse and you'd like to get those stories in, that's why the database is there, for you to search it yourself. So if you find yourself thinking, I should DM Michelle or Allie to see if they know anybody that would work for this project. We do. They're in the database. Save yourself the time and just go do a little search.
That's right. If you are underrep, add yourself. If you know somebody who's underrepresented and you think that they should have a bigger voice in the community, tell them about our site. Of course, it's up to them to decide whether they want to be in there. Not everybody wants to be on a database and on a site, and that's fine too. We're not forcing anybody. I'm not going to come to your house with my fork and poke you until you sign up. But yeah. So the whole idea is, we love you guys. I mean, we really love this community, and it's not perfect. And so there are ways for us to help make it a little bit better. And this is one of those ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Allie, I love you. I love the work we do together. And I can't wait to decide what we're going to talk about next week. We don't know what it is yet, but y'all will be the first to know once we put it out there.
Absolutely. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a new vlog. Until then, find us on Twitter at underreptintech. Add yourself to or search our free database at underrepresentedintech.com.